Good afternoon, class. How are you all doing today? We are going to start on an activity that I call proofreading. And this is a couple of pre-reading strategies that will eventually help us to construct our first proofs. Now we're going to start with an introduction into our vocabulary terms. We are going to create some graphic organizers that I've handed out to you there. Now, here are our 5 vocabulary terms we are dealing with. We have theorem, conjecture, counterexample, 2-column proof, and paragraph proof. And since this is our first time doing this activity, we're going to do the first one together, which is theorem. So go ahead and take out your graphic organizer there and put the word theorem in the circle in the middle. Now, find these 4 categories here. You can reference your textbooks, or you can check online and use your internet resources. Now just be careful though that the websites that you use to make sure that they're credible and reliable sources. Now the research that I used to find the definition of theorem is shown here. A theorem is a statement that can be demonstrated to be true by accepted mathematical operations and arguments. Now, since you all will be using different sources and different sites, I don't expect this to be the same exact definition for every student, but like I said, make sure you use a reliable source in order to find your information. Now, some characteristics, properties, or facts of a theorem are that it requires a proof, it is accepted to be true, and is most often an if-then statement. Some examples of a theorem which you may have heard of are the Pythagorean theorem, the fundamental theorem of algebra, and the binomial theorem. I also want you to provide some non-examples, so some examples that don't indicate what a theorem is. For example, a guess. A guess is not usually accepted to be true. A hypothesis has not been proven yet. Alright, I want you guys to go ahead and work with your groups here to construct graphic organizers for the remaining 4 vocabulary terms, and I'll give you about 15 minutes here to do that. Now, if you forgot, these are the terms that we have here. We have theorem, conjecture, counterexample, 2-column proof, and paragraph proof. Now, we've already done theorem, so you don't have to go ahead and redo that one. Ready? Go ahead and start working with your groups here. You have 15 minutes. Just an aside here, we have 15 slides that are all timed to 1 minute apiece, and the remaining time will be scrolling across the screen here as so. So you see here we have 14 minutes remaining. We have a slide here for everyone. So there's a stop sign indicating to the students that it's time to stop. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and stop this now, and if you haven't completed all your organizers yet, it's okay, you can go ahead and take them home and finish them up as homework. We're going to move on here to an activity that I call an anticipation guide. And for this, I'm going to provide you with some statements that can either be true or false. Now if they're false, I want you to go ahead and change them in some way to go ahead and make them a true statement. We'll do a couple of examples here. So a false statement is definitely that a square has 3 sides. Now in order to make that a true statement, we could change the number 3 to a 4 to say a square has 4 sides. But notice that you can also change the word square to say a triangle has 3 sides, which is also a true statement. So this is something that's going to occur for most of these true or false statements. So I want you to be able to provide more than one different true statement for each false statement. Now once again, we have a false statement that the sum of 4 and 3 is 12. Now we could change the word sum to product to make it a true statement that the product of 4 and 3 is 12. Or we could change the number 12 to 7, saying that the sum of 4 and 3 is 7. Now here we'll do the last one here. A false statement is that 2 angles are complementary if the sum of the measures is 180 degrees. Now to change that into a true statement, we can say that 2 angles are complementary if the sum of the measures is 90 degrees. And additionally, 2 angles are supplementary if the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. Now I've handed all of you guys out your anticipation guides with a list of 10 statements, and I want you to go ahead and work with your groups to determine if they're true or false. And once again, if they're false, I want you to make them into true statements. Now if you have any questions, I want you to ask your group members, and if you still have questions, I will be here to answer them for you. But like I said, I want you to ask your group members first. Good luck. Thanks.